So tell me about some of the murals that you've done. So we love to talk about business and making money with murals, but we also love to hear mural stories. Have you ever done a mural for someone that was just it just stuck out to you? I would just love to hear some mural stories.
Stuck out in terms of bad experience or good experience? What do you mean?
Whatever, both.
Um, well, I find in this business I meet a lot of characters, and I'm not talking specifically about the patrons. When you're outdoors and you're doing public art, outdoors versus commercial, residential, indoors, I mean, you're out there every day, and you really meet some characters. I painted, one summer I painted a 48-foot mural during Fair St. Louis. It's one of the biggest 4th of July fairs in the country. And we did it live. I had to have it done in 3 days because the fair was 3 days. So I had to do this 48-foot mural in 3 days. And it was right in front of 1.8 million people. I mean, right underneath the arch is this large hill, and everyone sits on the hill and watches the air show. And so when things weren't going on, they always had me to watch paint dry. And so I was up on the lift, and of course it was 4th of July, it was hot, and I had this guy come up to me, and you assume everyone that comes up, normal, just great person, friendly person, and he was friendly. But the more we talked, he said, well, you got a minute? He said, I want you to come down. I want to take you up on one of the main streets in St. Louis. He said, go into the Metropolitan Building. He said, it's all marble walls inside. He said, I want to take you up there. I said, well, how come? He said, it'll spell everything out. He said, you come up there, we go into the building, you look at this marble, because in all the veining of the marble, you can see the mothership and how we all got here and how it's all coming together. And it was at that point that I said, I got to get this thing done. I can't stop. And so I don't know whatever happened to him in the mothership, but you meet some characters out there. And then I've had some patrons. I had one where I painted the ceiling of the Chase Park Plaza Hotel. This is back in '99, a long time ago. And it was a ceiling mural. And now Chase Park Plaza is right on the edge of Forest Park, where the 1904 World's Fair took place, and we were doing a ceiling mural, and I was trying to kind of commemorate all the really famous buildings at the World's Fair on the ceiling mural, and it's in Forest Park. So you're looking up at the mural, and the guy says, okay, I like the design, your price is good, all good, I'll give you the job right now, but he said, you got to promise me something. I said, what? And he said, you got to promise me you won't use any of the colors blue or green. And I said, really? We're going to be looking up at the sky at these buildings. You don't want any blue, and it's going to be a setting in Forest Park, and you don't want any green. He said, yeah, that's right. And I said, can I ask why you don't want any blue or green? And he said, it's because those are my father's favorite colors, and he didn't want to patronize his father, which is the dumbest reason I can think of. But this is, you get people that you're dealing with primarily who aren't artists, they're not creative, they don't work in that realm. You have no idea what requests they may make.
Yeah.
So there you are. There's 2 stories right there.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. So, yeah, it's funny because there's so many people pass by, especially when you're working in public, that just want to talk. Like you said earlier.
And that's great. I mean, I get that a lot in Hannibal. My gosh, these people are just so hospitable. I mean, I've had visitors today, and I have them every day. But they'll bring me cold drinks. They'll bring me lunch. I have businesses bringing me food. They just, and I don't think it's me. I think it would be any artist that was doing the type of large projects I'm doing here. They'd be excited. But fortunately for me, it's me. And so they're very friendly. They come and see me. They're friends. They support me. They wave at me. They honk at me. They pass the word. And I run into people who I've never met, but they know me by Facebook. And seeing the art, they feel like, we're best buds. And we can be. It's just that I've never met them before. So I actually have more contacts, more friends here than I do where I'm from.
Oh my God, that's funny. It's funny because I get that sometimes as well. People will see the Instagram stories and whatnot, and they feel like they know me, and they'll come up to me in public and be like, "Hi, blah blah blah," and I don't want to be like, who are you? I'm just like, hi, how are you? Like, how have you been? And I just kind of try to go with it. And because there's
That,
just always
yeah.
this
I can't memorize all the faces.
strangeness.
I've met thousands of people, and I'm the only artist they've met. But I've met thousands of people, and they remember me. I don't. I just do a lot of nodding and, oh, you, yeah, And I don't mean to be rude. They're just I can't remember everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you get the majority of your projects, your commissions? Is it through word of mouth, social
It's
media?
it's well, word of mouth is social media, but before social media, it was all word of mouth. Somebody knowing somebody knowing somebody, and you do one restaurant, then the other. That guy's friend, he says, well, "I want one of those," and so it's been a lot of word of mouth. But I can say over 30 years, I've never run an ad. I mean, where do you advertise really for murals? Who is your customer? I mean, anybody can be your customer. So all you can do is make yourself as visible and as notorious as you can. Be out there where they can see you. And it's a lot easier with public art. And like I said, I just had a guy walk up and want a card. And he has a wall. I know which wall it is. I've been keeping an eye on that wall. And they want to see if we can work something out and do a mural. And that's great news because it was like the last mural and the last wall in that area that I had hoped to paint. So, but again, it's just people walking by and people knowing people.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Let me ask you one technical question. I am getting a little low on my battery here. If I take off the headphones, will you still be able to hear me, or is that not a good idea?
yeah, I'll still be able to hear you. It's sometimes it can have like an echo, so it's not
Okay.
very good for audio.
I have another
but-
set of Bluetooth here, but to unplug the headphones to plug in the battery, you're going to lose one or the other. So you're going to lose me altogether, or you're going to lose the quality sound.
How much battery do you have left?
About 20%.
Okay, I actually have about 25% too.
Oh, all right, well,
we started this a little early, so I was
There you
like,
go.
okay,
Okay.
so actually we could use that as just being right to the point of what.
And if we cut off to black, nobody be offended. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. So I guess just to be right to the point, a lot of people who listen to this podcast, they want to become a muralist. They see muralists like you, and they're like, how do I do that too? How do I, paint every day and make the big bucks and do what I love? And
Well, I want to know that part too. Can you tell me what that part is? The big bucks part?
Yeah. So actually, how do you price? How do you price your murals? Pricing's a big question with a lot of people.
I mean, I love doing this. I really do. And be able to drive down the street and see something you did 5 years ago. I mean, that's still pretty cool. I mean, it's really cool. I remember when I was a freelance illustrator and I was working in small design studios in St. Louis, and I'd be doing little 11 by 14 paintings that were used in advertisements and magazines and things like that. And I remember doing a piece of art that was going to be used on the back of a cereal box. And I just got so excited. I thought, man, I made it big time. I'm going to be on a cereal box, like when I was a kid looking at the back of that in the morning. And so it's still cool to open up a magazine to see a piece of art. But when you drive down the street, and pretty much everywhere I paint, but especially Hannibal, you drive down the street and you see 10 people standing in front of it getting their picture taken. That's pretty neat. You've done something. You had an impact on their life, and I like public art because it comes to the people. It's not the other way around. People don't have to pay a fee to get in and see it and be restricted. They can walk right up to it, touch it, and get a picture taken. It's all cool. So.
Yeah. What do you think is the main thing that made you stand out as an artist to be able to make such a career of this?
I was really not very good at painting small. And that sounds like a smart aleck question, but it's the truth. When I was doing all those illustrations, they were all small, and they had to put them on a drum scanner and scan them for advertisements. And it was a battle. It was just a battle. I got it done, and I did some nice work, but it was a battle. And then around 1990, 91, there was a recession that really hurt ad houses and design studios quite a bit. And I had to find some other way to do art and make a living. And so I started working with this, decorators instead of designers. And I found myself doing a lot of Trump loy illustration, faux painting, things like that to pay the bills. And that was fun too. I like doing that. But what I found out was they were using some really poor muralists. I mean, these were guys that were house painters, trying to be an artist. Well, it's a lot easier for an artist to be a house painter. And so I found myself looking at these murals they were buying that weren't very good. And I thought, well, if I can just do what I do 18 inches wide, if I can do it 18 feet wide, then I'd have something. And so that's what started. And boom, I started getting murals. My first mural was a 4x8 sheet of masonite I painted in my own house and took photos of it. Then I whited it out, painted again, took photos of it. And that's how I built a portfolio. I don't see how you can get any good mural jobs without samples. You have to show you can do it. You can say you can do it. You can kind of think you can do it. But until you've done, like the mural I'm doing now is over 60 feet wide and 30 feet tall. Until you've been on a lift in the wind or the rain and you've, had to get down, get back and see what the heck you're painting because it's so big and you're so up close to it. Until you've done all those things, there's no way that you can ever say you've got this. And I've been doing it for 30 years. I've done over 500 murals. I don't have it. I've solved a lot of my problems and I've fixed a lot of things. I've improved, but I will say I feel way more comfortable in whatever somebody may want, but it's the problem solving that you have to do. It's not can I paint this pretty horse? It's what do I do if the paint isn't working right, or the weather, or the temperature, or the medium, or the brick, or it's all the problems. It's the problem solving that's the difficult part of the job that all you can do is muddle through it, and eventually you've made so many mistakes, had so many problems, you've got the majority of them worked out.
Yeah, so true. Well, especially with murals, you're moving your body in all these crazy ways, and it's just exhausting at the end of the day. How many hours do you typically paint per day?
Oh, it depends on the weather. It depends on a lot of things. When I'm outdoors, I find I can't do the sun as much as I could before. I got heat stroke working on 2 projects simultaneously in the month of July or August a few years back, and I had heat stroke, and I was in bed for 4 days. And so I can't take the sun like I could. So, for example, in this job, on a 95-degree day, which it was last week, I'll be out there at dawn and work till maybe 9 or 10 in the morning. Then I'll just stop. I'll go indoors and wait until 4 p.m. because at 4 p.m. the wall's in shade. And then it's great, and I can work till dark. So I have to keep my schedule, my deadline, the self-imposed deadline in view, and whatever it takes to know I can get the job done. When I get to the point where I think, okay, I got this, barring problems, I'll do this tomorrow, I'll do that the next day, and then touch-ups, and we're done. When I get to that point, I work a minimum of 6 hours a day. I mean, when I have to, maybe 12 hours a day. It just depends on the conditions. If I'm standing on the ground, or like you say, if you're up on a lift or scaffolding, what it does to your legs is you're rocking, you're constantly balancing, and it's difficult. It doesn't look like it. To everyone else, you're just standing there. But to you, you're balancing and holding paint pails and brushes and doing a bunch of weird poses and swinging your arm. And it's a lot harder physically than it looks like it is.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Okay. I had another question and then I forgot it. I guess I'm just really trying to extract some of the mural information that you have throughout the years. And so, there's a lot of times where, like, students who join the Artist Academy and they're brand new, I always say, you don't even know the questions to ask.
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know. Yeah.
Exactly. You don't know what you don't know. So I'm kind of coming at that with you. I'm like, so I've been doing murals for 7 years probably, but still there's so much I don't know, and just so many different things. And as you said, you're always learning. So what's something that you would give, a piece of advice that you would give a muralist, I guess, that's
real easy. The best advice I give is don't be afraid to look bad.
Oh, okay.
Don't be afraid to look bad. If you're afraid of trying a technique or trying a color, trying a design, trying a size, trying anything, because you're afraid, I'm going to screw this up and everybody's watching, you'll never improve. You'll never improve. You have to not be afraid to look bad. And it's no fun to look bad. It's no fun to fall on your face in front of people. It's no fun to paint something that really sucks and just looks terrible. And you think, oh my gosh, they thought I was something. No, they figured it out, I'm not. But that's the only way, it's the only way you're going to improve. You just have to fail. You have to look bad. And then eventually you'll say, oh yeah, I got this. I know what's going to happen if I do this. it's going to run or it's going to peel or it's going to do something weird, and you know what to do next time. And you know, for me, give it 30 years, you'll be fine.
So do you not care as much anymore? Like you've done it so much, and so you're just like, if somebody doesn't like my work, it doesn't bother you as much as it did in the beginning, or?
Well, yeah, you have to keep in mind there's a big portion of the public that's never going to like you anyway, and and they're not going to like you anyway. They're going to like what you drew. I had one guy just freaked out. I've never had a guy get so angry so fast to the point where I literally thought he left the building to go get a gun. I mean, it was that serious. He was so angry. I was painting a transportation mural, and I was painting trains at the time, and he didn't like it because I hadn't put a Union Pacific train up there. And he took his trains very seriously, and it was scary. He left the building. I had to call to get some security because he did come back in, and they went over and talked to him. But I know that sounds crazy, but it was crazy. I mean, he was nuts. And so there's always some people that thinks their brother, sister's cousin could have done a better job. They could do a better job. They'll admit they can't paint or draw a stick figure, but they can sure tell you what you did wrong. And so there's always a portion of that. But really, I've just learned that 99.9% of the people that see what I'm doing know good and well that they can't do it. And they really don't know how I do it. It's not magic. It's just experience. But I really don't care. I want them to like it, but to the ones that are skeptical, to the ones that are doubtful, the ones that think, I don't like those colors, well, fine, I don't care. Yeah. I don't care. You know, give your business card to the guy. Maybe he'll call you next time. I mean, that sounds cold, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah, and I guess the people who are paying you are really the main critics that we have to be worried about anyway.
It's called power of the purse. Who's ever paying the bill? That's if they don't want blue or green, they don't get blue or green. I mean, there's times if I just think it's just an awful idea, whatever they want, I'll tell them. I'll say, look, I see what you're trying to do here. However, because of reason A, B, and C, let me tell you what's going to happen or why that is not a good idea. But I always offer them an alternative. Quite often they'll say, oh, never thought of that. Okay, let's do it your way. So you hope. I mean, sometimes you have to paint some really stupid stuff, but it is a business, and I'm not like a lot of artists that paint in their spare time, have paintings leaning up against their wall in their studio, and I don't do that. If there's no money involved, if there's no check, if there's no contract, Ray doesn't get the brushes out. I don't paint. Now, I know that's I go against the artist law or whatever of you want to call it, because some people respect their trade and their art so much that it's like cheating on themselves, and I don't see it that way. I like doing it. I like everything I paint. I like being able to do it. I appreciate it. I admire it. I respect other artists, but I've got too much stuff going on in my life to paint for fun. I hope when I'm painting out there on that wall, that is fun. That is fun. If it's not fun, then you screwed up at the beginning.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I love that you're so honest about that too. You seem very like cut and dry. I'm here to make money and love what I do, but not going to do it for free. So I think
you have no idea. If we had more battery power, you could really hear some stuff.
Like what? No, tell me.
I have some pet peeves about other artists. I have artist friends, but I find that a lot of artists don't have a lot of artist friends, and I've always wondered why that is. I paint my way because it's me. It's not the best way. It's not the only way, and I'm certainly not by any stretch the best artist. But artists tend to compare themselves with each other, and I don't know why. I don't think plumbers do that or any other trade. You just paint what you paint and not judge each other. I think all the artists in the group know who's really good and who aren't so good, or maybe they know some that are really good, but they wouldn't want to paint like them, but they really appreciate their talent. But artists, I think, get a little too touchy-feely. I think there's too many people in love with the idea of being an artist, and I've never understood that. I see art as temporary. When I'm dead and gone, I'm gone. The art will eventually go away. That's been the history of all artists. And so I don't love the idea of being an artist like other artists do. They just really, I'm an artist, and okay, I'm a pilot. So what? It's okay. It is. I don't think it should receive any more adoration than very many other trades do, and talents do, and jobs do. But I know a lot of people that like to play the part of an artist. I would rather just be the best artist for me I can be, and if everybody likes it, then I won. And if they don't, I guess I'll go into plumbing, whatever it takes.
Yeah, it's funny because I've thought that several times about how sometimes I'll be working on a construction site and people will come by and just say, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing," blah, blah, blah. But like they're not saying that to the electricians, to the plumbers. Like nobody else gets that. I'm like, so I feel kind of lucky to be in that. But it's
You're
also,
very lucky.
You almost feel bad for everybody else.
Well,
they don't
I had
get
the
that
same.
hit.
I had the same thought last week because wherever I'm painting here, people are yelling and whistling and honking and I've had guys yell at the "Hey man, you're dope," and that's badass, and and I'm thinking, some schmo down the street is painting a house white and nobody cares.
No.
And so I decided last week, if I'm ever in that position where I'm going down the street, see someone, I'm gonna be like, "Hey man, good job." I just think everybody deserves that, and I don't deserve it more than anybody else. And I really appreciate it, but it's yeah, that is a shame that we don't all go around and say, "Man, you really wired my building well. That was a good job," or "You painted well," or "You cooked my food well," or whatever you did. It's a shame other occupations don't get that same praise.
So true. And back on the whole comparison thing, like you mentioned, that is a big thing with artists. So I train other artists as well, and it's very hard because a lot of people will come in, they feel bad that they don't feel like they're up to a certain level, and then a lot of people, even our friends, will compare, be like, "Oh, who's the better artist?" and like in front of us, and we're just like, well, and it's like, how do you answer that? And so I usually answer it and like,
You don't.
well, she's good at certain things and I'm good at certain things, but
everybody's good at what they do.
Yes, but everybody loves to compare artists.
Yeah.
I've noticed, like on the outside, people love it. They're just like they just love to compare people, and that's like that. It's almost like that's their first instinct. And I've thought about this like many times of a way to maybe change that. Because I think a lot of people don't realize that art, it's the more time you spend in it, the more practice you have, the better you are. But a lot of people see the outside who don't understand art that are like, "Oh, they're just born with that, and who's better, like in that." And it's like, it's not that. It's just, who's had more practice and to do what. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Who's screwed up the most stuff? I mean, the artists I don't trust are the ones that do the very same thing that they think they're good at over and over and over and over again, and they never venture out, never try anything else, and that has actually worked to a detriment for me in some aspects because I can paint in a variety of styles. Maybe I'm not the best at any of those styles, but I paint in a variety of styles, and so a lot of people can't brand me. They don't know, is that the guy that paints good trees? I mean, they don't know. But I'm trying a lot of stuff and I screw stuff up every day. But hopefully the next day I don't make the same mistake. But the people that do the same things over and over without trying new techniques and styles. And if you ask about what advice I'd give, I guess the second part would be try every kind of medium, try styles, try crazy stuff, and be inspired by other artists and say, "Wow, that's kind of cool how he made those clouds. Let me go give that a go and try that." And more likely than not, I find you don't match what he did, but you find your own way and how to do it. That's what I find. And so you gotta learn all the techniques before you can settle on one or be comfortable with one to get out there and do it. But boy, when I was in my 20s, I had an artist I shared space with, and he said, "Well, history will tell you that most artists don't really hit their prime until they're in their 50s or 60s. And to somebody in their 20s, okay, maybe you'll have to admit something here. That seems like I'll be dead when I'm in my 60s. There's no way I'm going to be in my prime. Wait till you get that old and you're still painting. And you'll say, man, was I a hack when I was in my 20s. Man, I was so bad. man, I wish I knew then what I know now. Boy, could I blow them away. And you could. It's just, it takes a long time. You
It
just
really
don't
does.
snap your fingers. And if you're not in there for the long haul, then forget it.
Oh, I love that. I'm just going to quote that from you. If you're not in it for the long haul, then just forget it. I love
Yeah.
that. That's very tough love. So my growing up, my mom gave me a lot of tough love, and I love it. I'm so into it. Just so I'm loving your style right now. Just give it to us as it is. So I do have a question. So a lot of artists, and I work with beginner artists a lot.
We're down to 10%. Just telling you, we're down to 10% now.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. A lot of artists that I work with in the beginning, they have a hard time like getting started, and a lot of it's just mental. They see the artists, the experienced artists like you, and they're like, "Well, I'm not that good. Why should I even start?" And it stops them from starting. What would you say to that young artist looking at an artist who has a lot more practice, and what would you say to them to try to get them started or give them some tough love?
If you do that, then you're a quitter. I mean,
I love it.
it doesn't matter if you're whatever you are. I mean, whatever your business is, if you're going to go into it with that attitude, you're a quitter. I don't know what to say. You got to love it in the first place. You have to love it enough and be inspired by it enough to want to go the long haul, to keep screwing up and to keep making mistakes and to keep working at it. If you're not, then you haven't found your thing yet, and it's very important. Now, for me, my thing found me. I can't ever, and I remember when I was 4 or 5 years old, believe it or not, I remember I have stories that I can remember when I'm 4 and 5. It may not be accurate, but they're pretty good stories. But I've always been known as the artist. I was in first grade when I was 6 years old. I mean, I was always singled out as, look at this he drew, look at this that he painted, isn't this something for a 6-year-old? And so I was always known as the artist. And it just, okay, and they people just sold me on it. And do I have talent? I just don't know anymore. Talent and experience kind of blurred together a long time ago. So
Yeah.
that's my answer. If you're going to do that, then you're just a quitter. That's pretty tough love. But stay in it. I mean, if you have any inspiration, if you're inspired by it, do it. But don't do it because it's some romantic thing you want to be able to say you're an artist. If that's what you're going into it for, no, not going to happen.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, just take the whole romanticism out of it because it is. I mean, a lot of work. it's
Yeah.
long days.
A lot of frustration, just a lot of the downside to get to the upside. But when I do a mural and I maybe go back into that city a couple years later or something, and I see it again, it's all fresh to me. I think, I did pretty well on that. That looks pretty good. I didn't think that when I left. I didn't think when I left, but now that I see it in fresh eyes, like other people do, I'll like it. Of course, then I'll stand there for a while and pick it apart and think, I should have done this, should have done that. But that instantaneous reaction, I think it looks pretty good.
Oh my gosh, I'm just so excited to hear that you do that as well. Because whenever I'm done with something, I'm like, okay, I'm done, I'm tired, I'm leaving. And then if I look at it a week later or even sometimes the next day, just to have that freshness, I'm like, oh, okay, that looks pretty good, I guess.
You probably heard this before, but I had another artist, illustrator I worked with, and boy, he was really good. And we would talk about paintings, and we worked side by side in the studio. And he said an artist never finishes a project; he just gives up on it. And I've thought about that for 30 years, and it's really true. When you get to the end of a project, I mean, you can always keep painting, but you eventually get to the point where you're just done. You're mentally done, and I think I've just about done all that I can to this image. And if I paint anymore, it's not going to make it look any better. I give up on it. It's done. That's it. It's done. And that's how I decide if I'm finished or not. If I'm out of time, or I just don't think more paint is going to make it any better.
Yeah, it's so true. And yeah, because there's always something to add that could make it, like, oh, well, there's just so much. And, or sometimes like if the client's out of the budget, be like, we don't have the budget to go any further, so we just stop. that's so right. Yeah. Yeah, so I think we've covered quite. I love.
You're asking the question, so.
I know. Let's see. What's some more tough love that you can give us? Because a lot of people, they're just stuck in their heads, like that are listening, and they're stopping themselves from starting, and they're comparing, and they're doing all of that, and just we need some tough love to get out of our out of our heads, and
Well, I wish Nike hadn't said it, but I could say just do it. I mean, procrastination and waiting for the perfect time, it just doesn't ever happen. Um, you know, every journey begins with a single step, all that silly, stuff, but it's all true. There's days when I'm in front of a 2,000 square foot mural or whatever, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, when I think of the number of brush strokes on a mural, and then you multiply that by how many you do a year, by 30 years, and you think, all those strokes, all that physical labor, and I don't even remember it. I can see the results, but I don't remember it. And you start thinking about how big you're painting, and had someone say yesterday, well, it's like eating an elephant. Yeah, I know, one bite at a time. You just it's baby steps. You just take one little thing. Don't be so demanding of yourself that you have to get it all done right now, even though you'd like to, and don't forget that it's just paint. This isn't brain surgery. It's just paint. If you screw it up, you paint over it. Not a big deal. The mural I'm doing now is for Continental Cement Company, a company I never thought I would give, but it's really a cool design. It's about immigration and patriotism and things like that. And at the top, I designed the name Continental Cement in really old-style face. And long story short, won't go into how I screwed that up, but I painted CONTIN, and it's all done. But unfortunately, it's 8 feet to the left of where it's supposed to be. So I just finished right before we got on painting it out. It's just paint. I'll redraw it, and I'll redraw it accurately, and then I'll repaint it. It's, just don't expect so much of yourself. I mean, everybody screws up, and it is quite a journey. It's quite you got to keep the destination in mind, but it's a rough road. A lot of times, it's a really rough road. But in the end, it's only paint. It'll all work out, and it always does. Always has. It always works out. I've never left a project and think, oh my gosh, floor it. Let's leave town. That mural was awful. Never. I've never left. I work it out. It always gets worked out.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be so serious all the time. I actually tell myself that quite a bit, that we're not doing, brain surgery or whatnot. It's just it's okay. Like if it doesn't get finished today, then maybe finish it tomorrow. I don't know. And
That's all you can do.
Yeah, and I always tend to try to go really fast with everything and just finish it in a day or in 2 days or whatever. And so lately, even I always have to be like, okay, if this takes 3 days, it's okay. Like it's just.
I give myself daily goals. Now, a lot of my projects take at least a week, if not a month. But I give myself, okay, when I start in the morning, by the end of the day, I want to have X, Y, and Z completed.
Okay.
And if I get a couple more letters and they're done, then cool, I had a good day. Or if I have a problem and I had to scrape to get X, Y, and Z, well, at least it's markers along the road. It's markers as to where you're going, and that's how I work it out. People say I paint fast. I don't know. What's fast? What's fast? So I just get done what I need to get done, the way I want it to get done in that time period to that day, and I worry about tomorrow.
Yeah.
And hope it doesn't rain.
I hope it doesn't rain, exactly. Yeah. Especially around in springtime in the Midwest. That's every other day, I feel like.
Pretty much. And down here in the city, I don't have much internet, or I can't watch that radar because I live by that radar, watching the storms come in, and it's very helpful. I mean, because I did have a mural I did in Omaha one time, and it wasn't the best weather conditions anyway, but it was kind of foggy, and they were threatening mist and rain, and I was painting this big mural, Willie Nelson. Willie's head had to be 15 feet tall. A big thing with a flag backdrop, and I was painting the flag. I had most of Willie done, and it was toward the end, and I could see the dark clouds coming, and well, I think it's going that direction. I'm going to keep going here a little bit further, and I got to the point where, okay, now I'm just getting serious. I've got to stop. And I thought it was all dry, and I stopped. I went out there the next day. I kid you not. I was painting that flag. On the ground was red, white, and blue paint. It was a metal building, and it rolled right off that metal. It desaturated, and it rolled off that building. And I have a photo of it, red, white, and blue paint laying in the dirt. The mural came off the wall. So you got to be careful. You got to watch the radar and know. You got to give yourself whatever your drying time needs to be, because it can be bad.
It can be bad. Yeah.
It can be bad.
Oh my gosh, the weather. Yeah, all of the crazy things you have to hurdle around. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for this. In the
You're
name
welcome.
of phone battery, I think we should probably call it. But I've really
Yeah, before I offend too many more people or upset them, and they're all walking off a short pier. Yeah.
No, I think this is a great reminder for artists, because we all there's so much pride in being an artist, and there's everybody carries it around with them, and it's a job. It's the best job.
If you're getting paid for it, it's a job. I always say that when I'm in the studio and I'm painting, and I'm just painting, I'm by myself, to me, that's religion. That's between me and God, my talent, God-given talent. That's between me and God. The minute any human, I don't care if it's friend, family, foe, whoever, that sees that and now becomes marketing, because then they form an opinion. Then you start judging your own art. Then you start changing your own art, and then it becomes a whole big mess. But it was a perfect thing between you and God there for a minute until someone else had to look at it. But once somebody else looks at it, it's business.
Oh, so true. I love that. That's a great reminder too. If you like it, then do it. And well, so many of us too, we paint what we think someone else wants us to paint a lot of the time too. That way we can, please everybody, even if they're not right there saying it. Like we're painting what we think will sell a lot of the times. And there's there's something to that, but
it is a business. You have to make the cake taste good. Nobody's going to buy it. So, but the whole pride thing, never. I'm proud of my work, but I don't play those games. As you can see, I don't really look like an artist. I don't have a beret or a little goatee. I don't get into the tats and all the things that somehow make you a better artist. I don't do those kind of things. That's all baloney.
Pink hair?
No, I'd like to have more hair to start with. So if I had hair, maybe I'd do it pink. But the pride of being an artist it's just silliness.
Yeah, well, I love that you have a very to-the-point business mind, even.
Well, I'm from Missouri, so show me.
Show me, exactly. Well, I've so enjoyed connecting with another Missouri artist. Thank you so much for coming on, and I will let you enjoy the rest of your Monday. Have a great day.
I will. I got to go back to paint. Got to get back to the wall.
Get back to work. Yep.
All right.
Talk to you
Take
later.
care.
Bye.
Bye now.